Show number 963. Rollin Frost here. This they call an obelisk. An obelisk. This happens to be the one in the Place de Concorde in Paris. And this is a real one, not like the one you see in Washington, D.C., which is hollow and made of, and is a modern construction. You saw it kind of get trashed not so long ago. This is one piece. Napoleon took it from Egypt. You know, he was conquering the world, right? And anyway, it has some wonderful carvings on it and names and things we don't know. Nobody's ever translated, you know, a lot of this stuff. But here's the thing. See that point? Now, these guys were there in Egypt, and all over the ancient world, you saw these obelisks or things like them, and their main purpose was to determine when the sun was directly over them. Yes, when the sun was, so they wouldn't cast any shadow. You can see this one's casting a shadow here already, because the sun's over there. But now, the no shadow day we're going to talk about, because it's coming up for you in Hawaii, and I want to get you involved. This was all over the ancient world. Some places did it different, like they would have a deep cave with a hole in the top, and when the sun got to the no shadow place, it would only go through that hole. There's one temple someplace in Asia where the long tunnel, and the only time the sun goes in there's on the equinox. But this was for no shadow. And it's a very practical tool. And it's made of one solid piece of granite. Has a lot of quartz in it. Very revered object. Why would they do this? Well, everybody wanted to know the moment that the sun was in a no shadow position. And this could be seen by a large segment of the population. You might be going towards the no shadow, and every day the shadow on this side got smaller and smaller and was less time, and it would go up to the top, and when it disappeared and there was no shadow on all four sides of this, you knew you were on the no shadow time, and that was the time to pray to Father. That was the time to sit with God. That was the most religious time in the world. Well, you could only do this within the tropics. If you were outside of the tropics, if you were past 23 north or 23 south, the sun never got to a no shadow place. So this baby doesn't work in Paris. Sorry, Napoleon. It was a pretty thing. You see, there's another one in the courtyard of the Pope in Italy. You know, they saw these as objects of beauty and didn't know what they were for, so they grabbed them and took them off. And we're even worse in the USA because we built a phony one and put it in Washington, D.C., and they don't tell you when the no shadow time is. No. But that's what these were for. And they were set up like this so that a large area of people would be able to see this, and they would measure it. Just 5 minutes was important. You know, just get in there during that 5-10 minute period and have your ceremony and sit down and talk with Father. Only happened twice a year. And it only happened while the sun was going north. In the northern hemisphere, that's the preferred place, once a year, which you're about to have in Hawaii, because we're within that area. There are no obelisks around. That's too bad. And look at that tiny ant. What's it doing? It likes the obelisk. Well, anyway, that's the story. Here's a little side lesson for you. We've watched these pyramids for thousands of years. What were they for? We finally discovered that they're a model of Orion's belt, you know, which is very common. So it was in Teotihuacan and Chaco Canyon. A lot of ancient cultures modeled the stars on the earth. So, but what we didn't know, and probably is my discovery, in fact, I mean, it was a pilot in 1902 flew over it, and he saw this funny thing. There's a little indentation right down the center, like that. and it's just a little dent. In fact, the deflection of this dent is only 1/2 inch. So, yes. Now it turns out the pyramid is set up with the way the sun travels, such that when you get to the equinox, this pyramid is going to go from this half being in the shadow and this half being bright, and it would flip-flop. And suddenly this side is the dark side and this is the light. And with only a 1/2 inch difference here, this happened very quickly. And of course it would happen on the other side of the pyramid too. Now, why do this? Well, because these equinoxes are very important with dealing with Father and dealing with religion and God. Just like the obelisk gives you a no shadow time, which is really amazing. I hope you're going to try it. Well, the equinoxes, when they're exact, are very powerful, and would be a time when the whole population wanted to know when this was. And this thing also would happen very quickly. I mean, probably 10 minutes. I think somebody's, I don't know, 3-4 minutes, this would flip over. And everybody within a couple 100 miles would see this and would know this is the time for the ceremony. And it's the same thing with a smaller obelisk. It could be seen from a long ways off, and you would know when everybody would know when the no shadow time is. Yes. So there are ways to do this, like, you get a hole in the stone and look through it, and it'll be there, but you can't be seen by a whole lot of people. Of course, now I learned this from the Mayans. They would put up a flagpole, like a maypole, with string garlands and fruit and flowers, and the kids would dance around it, and they were measuring this, and they would know when the no shadow time was exactly, because the pole would cast no shadow. Maypole, this happens for you in the month of May, doesn't it? So, what these are is amazing big signal things, and they have a purpose. I grew up thinking, a bunch of slaves built this to bury some king, some emperor, and I thought, what savages? Turns out we're the savages. Yep. And this is a very sophisticated machine. And it does a lot of stuff. But this flip-flop in sudden time, same as the obelisk, it's an amazing deal. Now, you might want to have a little fun with this. Okay, back to no shadow. Lahaina. Lahaina actually means no shadow place. Anyway, so there I am. I've dived into the Mayan, and I'm studying what people call gods, are usually just our planets. And all the ancient cultures had the same planets. So I come upon an account of the celebration at the No Shadow Day, and how all the little kids would bring fruits and flowers and sit around the pole, and the commentator said it was amazing that wasn't stamped out like the written language and all the other ceremony and things that smacked of Mayan religion. I mean, the Spaniard would look at this and say, "Eek, it's a demon." Anyway, upshot turned out the Pope heard about the no shadow ceremony. Yeah, and he had such good reports when his local priests went to the ceremony. They were so amazed that he said, "Hey, we got to keep this going." And so he actually published a little booklet for his priests to use that had all the longitudes. Well, it's actually the latitudes of all the little towns and cities in the land they controlled, so that the padres would know exactly what day, according to their latitude, the No Shadow Day was to be held. And they supported it because of what it really is. Now let me show you this. Wow, what is that? This is the original pipe that I used to find the no shadow time. I would take this as a 2-foot piece of 1/2-inch pipe, and I would throw something around, a string around the top here, and I would hang it out there on the deck so that when it was perfectly vertical, and when the sun was in a perfect no shadow time, it would go right down this pipe, and on the other end it would make an exact circle. Yes. And you know, this got to be a big thing, because the circle, boy, it moved fast. I mean, if you were looking for the exact no shadow time, my pipe did it, and you could pin that down to a 2-minute window, you know, and there it was. So, wow. So I just tried this out a few times. I was amazed at what happened. The way I feel about it now, I should have this pipe gold-plated, you know, as an original discovery, scientific instrument. You could do this with almost anything. Piece of white plastic pipe, you know, even probably the little piece of cardboard out of your roll of toilet paper. If you hung it up in such a way that it was exactly vertical, the shadow on the ground will tell you when a no shadow day is there. Time to sit down and talk with Father. Yes. So I gave you the data. I should give it to you again. Hang on. Okay, are you a religious person? Well, this is an attempt to show you that astrology is the base science of religion in many respects, and is not astrology or religion. Here we've got real solid religion, and the astrology is an important part of it. Okay, so you should probably do this, you know, by yourself somewhere, so that, because you want to speak out loud to Father, speak out loud to Spirit. All my Indian gurus and everybody, Hawaiians, say yes, speak out loud to Spirit. He'll reply, you know, telepathically in your head, but you got to speak out loud. So it's best if you're alone, and if you don't, that way you're not embarrassed. And listen, this is a very religious thing. This is like super church. If you go to church, you know, this is the time for super church, and it's good to be alone someplace. And so here's these times you don't have to hang something if you don't want, because I've calculated them for you very carefully. And here we are in Captain Cook. You know, notice that these things all move north because the sun is moving north. So we start at the bottom of the chain, so to speak, Captain Cook Volcano, on May 17th at 12:20 p.m., 20 minutes after noontime. And then in Kona and Hilo, where I live, it's May 18th at 12:21 p.m., just a minute off. In Waimea and Honolulu, you're talking May 20th, 2 days later. That's a Wednesday. By the way, Captain Cook and Volcano gets a Sunday. Hooray! In Kona, it's Monday, May 18th. In Waimea and Honolulu, it's Wednesday at 12:22. Lahaina, and Kehi, and Kahului, and Lanai City, all in one group on the 24th, which is a Sunday again. It's nice for go church, huh? You're in church. 12:24. Now these times, you'll feel this real strong. 2, 3, 4 minutes beforehand, peaks out about then, and then tails off. Might be a minute or so difference, depending on your chart. Here's Molokai on Monday, May 25th at 12:25, and Lae at May 26th at 12:25 on Tuesday. Honolulu, here you go, guys. And Kaneohe and Waianae all come in on May 27th at 12:29. You notice that the time's getting a little longer. This is a Wednesday, so you got to take a long lunch hour if you're in Honolulu, Kaneohe, Waianae. If you're on Oahu, take a long lunch hour, because at 12:29 You want to be sitting in the park under the tree and be able to talk in a hushed voice to Father. And nice to have a little, they would make a chair for him and give fruits and flowers. At least put a couple flowers around, he'll come and sit with you. That's what the Pope said. Yeah, this is a religious thing. This is not just pagan, this is religion from all over the world. And Wahiwa, it's on Thursday, May 28th at 12:31. And you shift over to Kauai, you jump to May 31st, which is a Sunday again in Kaloa and Lahui. Wonderful Sunday. Yes, at 12:34 p.m. And if you're in Kapa'a area, it's actually June 1st at 12:35. So 1 minute difference, 1 day difference. So there's your times. If you didn't get them down and you think twice about it later, call me up, 322-3584 in Kona, and I will give them to you. You can also get this on the website, which is skymirrorastrology.com/TV. Get the whole show. Skymirrorastrology.com, you get the Sky Mirror, and you can transfer over. But this, you only get one chance. This is a going north. Father's real happy going north, and don't miss this. I might not be here next year to coax you into another visit. So this is important. And now you understand what obelisks are and how pyramids do these amazing magical things for large numbers of people. Well, now we got the internet, and astrologers on the internet, and any kind of a little round thing with a hole in it will do. A pipe. I hope you have a great meeting with Father. I know I'm going to. All right, let's go around the Sky Mirror, find out what's going on for you the next 10 days before I get into some other subject. On the 18th, no shadow day. There's a new moon at 27 Taurus. It's on my rising sign. It's going to be a special no shadow for me. Mercury goes retrograde on the 18th also at 3:50 p.m. Wow, your thoughts will be amazing. Not only that, but Mercury stops and goes retrograde in sextile to Jupiter and sextile to Uranus, and promises the next few weeks will be full of enlightenment, flashes of brilliance and Jupiter wisdom with unworldly stuff. So this couldn't be a better time for you to go try something, meet your Father. What's it going to be like for you? Well, I got the planetary pattern here. We've got a few oppositions. Venus is here, and 4 or 5 days from now, 15 degrees, she's going to oppose Pluto. The girls aren't going to like the police. But Venus is starting out for you the next couple days in trine to Neptune, so it's kind of dreamy and a lot of loving sexiness around. Here's Mercury, slowing down to stop. He's pretty happy camper, I think. Sextile Jupiter is going to be a lot of laughing. A lot of, the lawyers are going to save us all. And here's Sextile's Uranus, the environmentalists. So here's a chance for, I hope, a lot of professionals that are in the business to shape up the naysayers. Global war. Hey, you know what my idea is? Let's take all of the people out of jail that are in there for pot, and all the vacant beds, let's fill them with the folks who make a living off of telling us global warming isn't real. Those are the real devils. Let's put those guys in the beds, and we'll all be a lot better off. Well, that's my recommendation. Mercury. Okay, we're gonna run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern. Kind of generates the mood of the times as it goes through a day. Moon goes all the way around in 28 days. If you're on a thirsty show, you're getting some of that blitzkrieg. Here's the square to Neptune. The square to Pluto. Eek a bug, a little panicky here just around dinner, after dinner. And then the conjunction to Uranus. midnight or so, feel herky-jerky and the power blinks and, but this won't be, policemen beating people up on your TV, because we kind of got through that after the May 4th full moon. Took the energy off it. Yeah. But still, there'll be glitches here. In the morning of Thursday, here's Jupiter and Mercury. There's laughing, the kids. Here's playing. This is very nice. So you want to try to ignore the panicky feeling and just get into the brotherhood of Thursday, and you'll have a wonderful Thursday. Who cares if there's a bug? Friday, the moon's still in Aries, and you'll be feeling some of that brotherhood and some of the wisdom and communications that you got Thursday night all day Friday. Moon doesn't go into Taurus here till, let's see, that's about 8, 9 o'clock or so, depending on your location. And the vibes change with the moon in Taurus. They become much sexier, much more loving and ideal. Because here's Venus. Oh yeah, it's Saturday afternoon. The sextile to Venus, far out. And here's a sextile to Neptune. Dreamy romance, yes. There's a square to Jupiter here. This is probably 9 o'clock, 8, 9 o'clock. Overdoing it. Don't eat so much. But there's a nice trine to Pluto about midnight. So Saturday is kind of a delightful time. It's very sexy, very powerful. Don't overdo it, and you'll have a great time. The moon in Taurus. Taurus has a lot of gluttony in it. So when the moon in Taurus squares Jupiter, you'll probably glutton out and ruin the rest of the evening. But here we are, Sunday. Moon's still in Taurus. You're going towards a new moon, which happens in the evening. It's a nice new moon, conjunct the Pleiades. Monday morning, the moon's in Gemini. What's going on? Energy. You're in the Mars zone. The moon goes by Mars in the morning. We're all a little ticked off, a little irritable. Going too fast. I'm rushing. You're in my way. There's some anger here. There's some confusion. It goes all the way through Monday. And Saturn's here. Ugh. So we've got some repression, some rebellion against authority, and some confusion Monday. It's not an easy day. Leave early for work. Tuesday, it changed right away. There's the sextile to Jupiter. Wisdom pops in there 2, 3 o'clock in the morning Tuesday. Not bad. And then enlightenment from Uranus. The higher mind happens Tuesday morning. That'll mellow out your Tuesday on the 19th. Be quite nice. On Wednesday the 20th, the moon's in Cancer. Goes by the Neptune trine in the evening. And in the morning of Thursday, they're in the Venus zone. So it feels pretty sexy and pretty loving, yeah? Trouble is Pluto's in opposition. You'll feel that about noontime. And the policeman towed the car that had your Valentine's gift in it or something. I don't know. Here's the glitch. I feel alone. Power and control issues. Eek a bug. They're on Thursdays now, you will note. Friday, you still feel a little eek a bug until you get almost before lunch, and the moon shifts into Leo. And it feels a lot better. We have a nice trine to Saturn. We're organized. Sextiles to Mars. Get the work done. A good plan. The men are out doing things and getting their act together. On Saturday, the 23rd, we've got Mercury here. A sextile to Mercury. Here's the words, the speech. And we're going towards a conjunction to Jupiter. After lunch, Saturday is another day of enlightenment. Kids laughing, people having fun. And here's Uranus later in the evening. Watch TV. Amazing new stuff comes up. Good science. Common sense, okay? This is common sense stuff that, wow, it's nice. You'll still feel it through Sunday. It'd be quite a nice Sunday. But, the power is in the moon going by Jupiter here on Saturday, the 23rd. Good time. I want to talk Pluto, and actually this is the sky mirror from show 959. This is where I drew Pluto. She's a volcano, can you see that? So I was really into the volcano thing, and when I'm going for timing here. When Pluto stops, there will be volcanoes. So first of all, trying to nail down the timing I had two places I picked out. One was here around the 17th of April. The other one was here around the 23rd, when the moon in Cancer opposed Pluto, and people say, "Eek, a volcano, eek." And let me show you the most beautiful volcano I've ever seen. Now, as to place, 5 years of research, we found out that, the full moon, new moons, quarter moons tell you the place. Sometimes, 2, 3, 4 months in advance. Now, here's a full moon, and this one squared Pluto, and it's a big deal. So it was on Pluto, huh? So anyway, I'm looking to see where Pluto's going to take off, and here is Chile, and here is where Calbuco volcano is. You can see it's Pluto on the IC. That's the bottom of the chart. That's your home, your ground, erupting. And there it was. Now this was January 4 full moon, so we're talking 3 months and 3 weeks before it actually happened. And the timing of the place is oftentimes like that. Sometimes it comes off in a month, sometimes 2, 3. Anyway, we nailed the place. And now check this out. Okay, here's the volcano right here. Here it's spewing up fire, yeah, whoa. But look at this. It's all huge, massive amounts of electricity. Lightning bolts, huh? Wow. Here's another shot. Amazing lightning bolts, huh? Next to the volcano at nighttime. What a spectacle, wow. Spectacular in the daytime, too. Wow. Amazing scenery. I'm sure we're not doing this justice. If you got internet, all you got to do is go and Google the Calbuco volcano, and you'll get these glorious shots. They say when this thing went off, people were just petrified. It went off big time, 2, 3 times. Yep, right on the dates I told you, on April 23rd, it was really pumping. Well, I was trying to make Pele look pretty a little bit there. She sure is pretty here, huh? Here's the lightning that did it. Wow, what a thing. Come back next week, folks. Aloha.